think about the Messi thing?
Anything else on the Messi front, Chris, before we move on?
No, I'm done. I'm
falling out. I told you, I never want to bring this guy's name up again.
I don't know, man. This Messi thing is just a freaking mess. What a disaster.
I don't want to hear this name ever again until it's official. But they got me back.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. And Messi just lost his first game as a starter for Inter Miami. What a horrible night. Episode 193, May 29th, 2024. Mark it down on your calendars. I used to say we never lose a Messi. That can no longer be said. But I guess we'll get into that. KBD, how are you doing?
Well, I guess people can't say no Messi, no party, right?
Oh, Atlanta's partying right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, but not, we had Messi, and there's no party. So
you know what? And I'm tempted to actually bring him on, but I'm scared because see, a lot of people in the chat are asking for Tommy, but Tommy's a shit show, so I don't know if I want him on here. I don't know if I want him on here right now. We'll see. All right.
Unless you want to put him like in the corner for a little bit, we'll talk before we bring him on.
Then we'll
just kind of have him sitting in like the timeout corner,
and then we'll kick him out. I actually jumped on there live. They were doing a watch along, and I jumped on there. That was pretty brutal. And Sean saying we want Tommy. Okay, well I'll send him the invite. We'll see if
I mean, at
jump,
this
let
point,
him jump
the
on.
masses are.
All right. Overall thoughts, Chris.
It was really a weird game. It felt so weird, this game. It didn't feel like, I mean, looking at the starting lineup, I thought that we were going to destroy them, and it didn't pan out like that.
Atlanta
up well. The defense was brutal.
Atlanta was on a 9-game winless streak. We were on a 10-game undefeated streak. I'm sorry, a 10-game undefeated streak, and they were on a 9-game winless streak. So a completely different
expectations
coming into this game. We all thought that this was going to be an easy dub. You see at the bottom how it says record 10-4-3. I only made one of these backgrounds. Mine said 11-4-2 because I was sure that this game would end with the dub, and I had to get on and change it the last like 10-15 minutes because obviously I was off. All in all, I mean, I think this recipe to beat this team was at one point press into Miami. They will make mistakes. And the very first possession Atlanta came when was pressing. I was like, okay, they're going to press. They're going to get tired of that. We'll eventually break them down, beat the press, we'll win. But they went that first possession pressed, and then I never saw it again. It was straight low block transition. And man, and I know people are going to be like, oh, the offense was horrible. Look, I'm seeing Tata out. Even if you're a good team, it's hard to break down a low block, especially if you are a good, disciplined defensive team, which Atlanta is. The one positive that we had to say about them and that Tommy had to say about them on Monday was the fact that they are a good defensive team. That's where they've improved. And when they played the 3 center backs in the back, this wasn't your Tata 3 in the back. This was a legit 5 in the back because Brooke Lennon usually pushes up high. Widely, I forgot his other guy's name, pushes up high. In this game, they weren't in the attack. They were all defending. So those 3 center backs kind of stayed narrow. They filled in that box. Every time there was a cross into Suarez, into Jordi Alba, any of those guys that got the ball in the box, it was impossible for them to get a good first touch because they were swarmed by defenders. Like it was a rough game, frustrating game. And I mean, it's hard to break those teams down. How do you beat that team? With some Messi magic from outside the box.
I have a question. Is it far-fetched to say that the midfield played terrible defense? Because I don't feel like the back line necessarily played terrible. I feel like the midfield didn't do enough to push up against players that were literally shooting from outside the box.
Well, I think that was on the back line because they were giving them way too much space to shoot. But to that point, the Vancouver game, the last game,
look at this.
How much credit were we giving our defensive back line? Because Vancouver kept getting to the final third, but we wouldn't allow them to get a shot off because we were clogging in. We were blocking shots, deflecting shots, intercepting balls, clearing balls, all inside that box. So what did Atlanta do? They're like, oh, you know what? If we get inside that final third, Inter Miami is really falling back deep to make sure that we don't get any shots off. There goes Tommy. Inside the box. So they saw that we were doing that, and we were basically just giving them free reign to take shots from outside the box. And at that point, Drake has to save us because they were taking shots from outside. As soon as they had a shot, they took it. And, I mean, they were converting.
Listen, I feel like everybody is on the same page with me, Danny, here, that the midfielders were bad. Like, look, it's like what they say, right? The defense starts up at the top, right? Your first defender is your striker, and apparently they just couldn't play good defense, especially in the midfield. Now, obviously, if they don't play good defense, it's going to fall onto the back line, but they're making up for a bunch of gaps and a bunch of spaces. Like, how many people can you cover at that point? And look at Tommy. He's just here like he is.
I don't know why people want him on. He's just going to laugh the whole time.
He is literally peppering us.
The one, look, I saw Tata out a couple times already. The one thing that I thought Tata failed in was leaving Redondo on.
Yeah.
Because Redondo obviously is not fully conditioned right now.
Look, we got Twan. Bring Tommy on. And then
worry.
we got Cynical Tube. Go away, Tommy.
I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Oh, Redondo. Tata didn't take him off. Redondo, you could tell he was gassed at one point. He was out for how long with that injury? Like, he missed like 12 games. He's not in tip-top shape. And today was a humid, hot day out in that stadium. Like, he was gassed. Like, at some point, you have to, especially when they're running up and down the pitch on us, like, Redondo is great. We all know that. But he's not fit to play these 90 minutes in this weather against a team that is just kicking our ass in transition. So I think Redondo should have came out earlier. I think Kremaki's fresh legs would have helped a lot in that situation.
Or Ruiz, at least.
Or Ruiz.
I think if you're gonna make a like for like sub, you'd bring out Redondo, and you bring in David Ruiz, and at least he could be able to give you a little bit more creativity, right? Because it just seemed like Redondo was on some other stuff.
There's no reason why Redondo should have played a 490 today. Like, it doesn't make sense. But I mean, I guess like no, I'm trying to make sense of it for Tata's sake, and no, I can't make sense of it. Redondo should have come off. He should have come off. Gressel did come off, I believe, right? Gressel was the one that came off for Matias Rojas. And as soon as Matias Rojas came in, offensively, we looked better. I think we scored soon thereafter. But
yeah,
Matias Rojas is a creator. He can take his defender on one-on-one. He gives a lot more vertical passes. He's a lot more aggressive offensively. Gressel is a lot more conservative, looking for the safe pass or the cross. So I thought Matias Rojas was going to change. And I was talking to Tommy over the text. He was asking, how you feeling when we were down 2-0? I was like, honestly, I'm not worried. I think that we'll score twice at least and at least end up with a tie. And then Messi scored soon thereafter. And at that point, again, I wasn't worried. I thought 100% we're going to end up with at least a draw here, at least. And then
we get scored on.
It was just really hard to break down that
low block.
That low block
Absolutely.
is very difficult to break down.
Absolutely.
So I'll go ahead, Chris. I'll let you do your thing.
Listen, I mean, we can easily just go through the starting lineup again, and I mentioned this in every single post game that we do. I'm just going to go through it for the people on audio. We're bringing up the screen of all the starters. We have Calendar in goal. We have the left back with Alba, and then the center backs with Christoph and Aviles. Right back is Weigand, and then they actually played like a 4-3-3, at least according to the graphic in the beginning of the game. So your midfielders were Gressel on the right. You had Redondo on the left, and then you had Busquets playing the center mid or center defensive mid, and then the top three were Taylor, Suarez, and Messi on the right. With that lineup, I mean, just looking at the lineup, just looking at this bad boy right here, you automatically thought Atlanta's gonna get cooked.
I was surprised. I was surprised that Rojas didn't start. I thought he would start over Taylor, maybe, but Taylor had that. but Taylor had that great game, so it was hard to take him off. So I thought that he would start for Redondo, and Redondo would start on Saturday. I was really surprised that Redondo started over Matias Rojas, and hindsight being 2020, I think we might have been better off having Rojas start. Honestly, we would have been better off having him start over Gressel, to be honest with you. But, I think that was the only beef I had with the starting 11. Shout out to Swarm from South Africa.
Yeah, much appreciated, man. And much appreciated for all of you guys for kicking it with us in this post game, man. Throw a like. It's free $99. And Rohan's asking if we didn't go, and no, we did not go.
No, I had something for my daughter after school. I think Chris had something similar. And we actually, both of our kids, coincidentally, both have birthdays tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So a lot of family stuff going on this week. So no, we did not go to today's game, which I'm glad. I mean, easy to say now, right? Because it was really hard for me to miss games. I hate missing games. But man, am I glad that I didn't go to that one.
Listen, May is a hell of a month for me, to be perfectly honest. 3 birthdays within my family in May. I feel like I haven't been to a game like in 5 years. So it's a bittersweet thing to see May almost being over. And Marengo saying, you guys are cheap? What? What does that even mean, Marengo?
I don't know.
What? Are we cheap? Like free 99 to like and subscribe?
I don't know. And I'm still frustrated that we lost.
Listen, this is a bright spot right here. Cynical Tube is saying Miami 34 points, Cincy 33. Cincy shit the bed today.
Well, that's another thing. Every time that we play, again, we have gone undefeated for 10 games. And I would go ahead and I would look to see if possibly Cincinnati had lost. And they would not lose. Thank goodness that they finally lost, that we lose. But I wish we would have taken advantage of this. But, I mean, if there's a positive, like you said, it's the fact that Cincinnati finally lost, and we're technically still at top of the Supporter Shield standard.
Marengo, we literally just gave an explanation on why we didn't go to the game. Has absolutely nothing to do with money. I don't know.
We have season tickets. We've already paid for our tickets. We have season tickets.
We can't find replacement parents to go watch our kids to do something that's pretty important in their life and celebrate their birth tomorrow, both of us.
Yeah. Well, not just that. It's the end of the school year, so they got the end of the school year awards and performances.
I mean, this guy thinks we got like clone machines here, like we can just clone parents. Like what?
Yeah. So
the case.
61% possession is what we ended up with. They had 39. Obviously, they allowed us to possess the ball. They were just looking for the counterattack. They had 23 total shots. They were not hesitating on that. But obviously, we weren't playing that low block. They were finding spaces all over the place to take those shots. They had 8 shots on target. They dominated the game. And I mean, if we're being honest, they dominated.
Well, we're going to talk about Alba, Mick, and they did dominate. And Francisco, thanks, but it's not my fault because of wiping standing. Absolutely not. And Solana is saying buenas noches in Spanish. And
shout out Solana.
And this is it right here. Aria is mentioning listen, Aria, every time you comment, your comments are great. And this is such a simple comment, and this is something that stood out every single time. Even Messi at times wasn't able to connect the final pass.
But I don't think when you there was a couple balls. There was a ball that Messi lobbed into the box, and it landed right at Jordi Alba's feet. But as soon as his foot touched the ball to get that first touch, he had like 3 defenders go ahead and just collapse on him. Like it felt like every time we got a ball into the box, because those 3 center backs were playing so narrow, because they had their wing backs actually defending wide, it was very difficult to get any touches inside the box. So it's very hard to get that final pass off when you have 3 guys on you at all times. Like it's hard. It's hard to break that low block up. It's frustrating.
And then not only that, but then Peaches is here dropping a super slam power bomb. Players on the pitch were good enough. We all know that. And Atlanta just wanted it more, and it showed. No desire and sloppy passes. Bring on next game. I love the positivity, Peaches. I love it.
I have a question for you. I know we're talking in general terms. We usually like break down the game, but just in general terms.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the game yet, so let's just speak generally.
I know that our defense in transition didn't look great.
Yeah.
Right? But would you say that this is the worst you've seen this defense? Because honestly, I didn't think that our defense looked that horrible. Now, were there certain possessions where like I felt like, why are you not stepping up on the guy about to kick it? Yeah. Why are you giving him so much space? But there's so many times that I thought that our defense, like there was a play where Almada was coming down the middle of the pitch, and it felt like he was on his own. It was like a one-on-one. Like he was one-on-one with Aviles.
He was
tossing. And Aviles won that ball from him. And I was like, man, like we're not playing as bad. I think that I've seen it worse. I think there was 2 beautiful goals by whoever the hell that was, Saka or whatever the hell his name is. Like those were 2 golazos that no matter how the defense is playing, those things were going to go in the back of the net.
Listen, I have to look. Trukutu is saying Christoph Van Dijk. Phil Lav is saying Christoph actually made a few good plays. And for some reason, Jordi Alba was still screaming at him. Like, Jordi Alba, why do you hate this guy so much? I mean, look, this is it right here, Danny. You're asking me if this is the worst I've seen this defense play. The problem is that the back 4, you've seen them play bad. You've seen them play awful. It's like nothing different anymore. It's not unique, right? It's an
but
expectation.
They didn't play awful. I didn't think that they played awful today.
They didn't, and I mentioned that, but that's the thing. You expect them to play awful. They didn't, and this is where our defense crumbled. Right here in the comment. For those of you on audio, the midfield's fault today by Skrilla.
Well, yeah, 100%. Look, because when they're playing a low block, they suck you in, right? When you're playing that low block, because you bring everybody up high to try to break them down. So once Busquets gets caught up there, Christoph gets caught up there, Redondo is working off a half a lung because he's half dead out there. Gressel can't defend for his life. And it's a recipe for disaster because then we got hit on the counter every single time. Christoph can't get back. Busquets can't get back. Redondo's half dead. And you know, Thomas Aviles is out there playing by himself. And look, Atlanta, for as bad as they've looked for the last 9 games, Thiago Almada, he had one hell of a game. He was cooking.
Listen, he's supposed to cook. And Amanda drops an awesome comment right here. Lots of space for Atlanta in the midfield tonight. Literally acres of land in front of
wide open.
Of Almada. Almada looked like he could have done 2 front flips before doing a super slam into the back of the net. Yeah, and Florida Man, see, this is where Florida Man has to kind of bring us back down to earth, right? Florida Man in the comment section says 17 games in, this is only our 3rd loss. But you know what, Florida Man? I got to be honest. I love the comment section after a loss. I love it because you guys are on like another level here today. You guys are amazing.
Now, this is the thing though. We are 17 games in. Like he said, 3 losses. This is the first loss with Messi as a starter. That matters. I guess I'll just say this season.
Yeah.
And we're going to be without Messi for 7, 8, maybe 9 games very shortly. This Saturday against St. Louis is going to be the last time you're going to see Messi for a while in the pink and black. So although it's just the 3rd loss, we knew we had to accumulate as many points as possible before Messi and Suarez leave. I'm not saying that we can't win games without them. Obviously, we beat Vancouver just now. I'm not saying we can't draw and get some points. But if we wanted an opportunity, and again, I don't care about the supporter shield, but if we wanted an opportunity to get as high a position as possible in the Eastern Conference, to get some home playoff games, that can go away if we don't take advantage of games like today and on Saturday. So we need to win these games. So I get it. In the grand scheme of things, the 3rd loss isn't that big a deal. But I mean, I do think that it'd be nice to host some playoff. Look, what if we play against Vancouver in the play? Oh, that would be the championship game because it's the Western Conference. But obviously, we want to play home playoff games. Like that's what we want. So I mean, I think we should be going all out. And I know we're gonna get into the St. Louis preview later in the show, but I think we're gonna kick their ass on Saturday.
Oh my God, I think
after
it's gonna
today,
be a disaster.
After today, I think we're gonna kick their ass.
Yeah, absolutely. And Unguarding is saying Solana breakdown. So I guess Solana is in the chat. He's breaking it down right now. Listen, and Michael's mentioning here a lot of bad decisions made that led to nothing. You know, one of the things that I guess I would have to sort of take a little bit of credit away from Tata is he's got to make some better substitutions. If you're leaving the game, if you're finishing the game and the only substitutions that you make are 2, right? I mean, we're talking about 2 substitutions where you had Julian Gressel come out, Matias Rojas come in, and then later on you bring in Campana in for Robert Taylor. I mean, I don't know if those not that those were the wrong substitutions. Juan, I think, and Juan is asking for Tommy. I think we're gonna bring him on at some point. Let us keep in the corner. Keep him in the corner right now. Okay. We're gonna bring him on. And Anonymous is mentioning here, yes, St. Louis will get an ass whooping. This is man. Upcode Series is mentioning 2 subs in that heat. Listen, it's been hot, and Nats have been out and about. Nats are the best defenders. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. That's basically it right there. Only 2 subs the whole game. Yeah, Mr. Krabs, that was awful. That was absolutely awful. Hammy, I'm going to go ahead and check out Twitter. Whatever you sent me that will be important. And then Booney is warning us, Tommy will ruin the show again. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to kind of go through the game, go through the halves real quick before we bring on this catastrophe of a Tommy.
Yeah, I just sent him the link, so we'll leave him in the corner for a little bit before we bring him on.
Okay.
All right, so let's go through the game before we get Tommy here to bring the show down.
Well, essentially,
where were the people saying no Tommy before? Now all the people that don't want Tommy on are coming out. Before you weren't saying anything. All I saw was, please bring on Tommy before.
I mean, Peaches is saying best guess incoming.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's get started before we bring on Tommy's disastrous ass.
Yeah, and Alejandro, I agree with you. Today is a very sad day. But essentially, Well,
I was just gonna say real quick, Nashville is our number 1 rival. Orlando, because of proximity, I suppose. Yeah. Atlanta isn't a rival necessarily, right? But just to keep things in perspective, the first loss in the Messi era, even though Messi didn't play that game, was against Atlanta, where they put up like 4 or 5 against us over there, Mercedes-Benz. And now the first loss with Messi as a starter is against Atlanta. So, are they a rival? No. But I will say that Atlanta does have a lot of shit-talking rights, I guess, that you could say at the moment, because they are that one team that has been able to beat us in this Messi era more than anybody, really, because since then we've lost to a couple teams, but only to Atlanta multiple times. So, all right, Chris, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, guys, Tommy's going to be on, but Marengo is actually asking us, bring on Messi. Listen, we're bringing on Tommy first. We're bringing Tommy on first, okay? He gets dibs, and then Messi will sit in the other corner, okay? Don't take it literal, guys. We're just playing. We would actually, I mean, I would like to have him on. I don't know what I would ask him, what he would answer, but essentially that would be pretty fun. I mean, look, at the beginning of the game, just watching it, I could tell that Atlanta was just playing on another level. You could tell, like, you know how you have those analysis that they're like, oh, they wanted it more. They were hungry, the fire in their eyes, right? Like, you could see all of that in Atlanta. Like, for some reason, Miami just wasn't playing well, wasn't linking their passes well. The defense was awful. I mean, this is a game that really could have been a blowout in favor of Atlanta.
Oh, 100%.
Which is scary. Like the midfield really, really messed us up. I mean, and we're talking about, we have Kristoff back there who, he showed a pretty good game, right? At least surpassed our expectations.
Like
But that doesn't mean he's a great
from him.
defender.
Right. Only so much you can expect from him when they're defending the counter so often.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, go ahead. If you want to do the rundown. And real quick, I see a lot of people asking for Solana also. Just so you're putting it out there, just so you know, Solana is definitely part of the battered family, and you're going to be seeing a lot more Solana starting mid-June. You're going to be seeing a lot more often here on the battered Herons and battered family overall. So shout out to Solana.
And then Adrian B saying speed was killing us. And then apparently Summer Sunshine is confirming it. By the way, Di Maria deal is done. He is coming in June.
First of all, I don't think he can come into July. Do with that. He can't even come until July, so he can't come in June. And I don't. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. So go ahead. I see Tommy's made his way into the backstage. We're gonna keep him back there.
Tommy's already in the backstage. We keep him. Let's keep him in the corner because he's doing like the Macarena.
Okay. And keep going. We'll let him on in a sec.
So essentially, first half we get scored on by Saba Los Gamblombo, whatever his name is. This guy shoots a freaking laser, right? And Solana, it is what it is. And yes, Aria, we're gonna keep him there for a little bit. He's on timeout. Okay. Tommy, can't wait, Florida man. So we get scored on, right? And we're getting scored on literally right before the half. Like when you saw us getting scored on before the half, did you think like we're done? Or did you think, we still got the chance? This is always the same crap. We get scored on. We'll make the comeback.
Tommy sent us a message. It's a group chat that we have, the three of us, you, me, and Tommy. And he sent us a text message about the 60th minute. I want to say 60th minute. And he said, how you feeling? And I said, I feel like I felt every game this year. We'll score 2 goals in the last 20 minutes and get a draw out of this, possibly a win. And we'll win a game that we probably shouldn't have. And shout out to Jason L. I saw him.
I saw him on Apple. I took a picture of him. I'm gonna see if I can send it to you. Send me a direct message, Jason, so I can send you a picture.
Jason, they showed you laughing after we got scored on that third time. I don't know what's up with that.
What are you doing? What are you doing, laughing? Bro? Why are you laughing? Why are you smiling? I told you.
I lost my train of thought, but.
I don't remember. Oh yeah, about Tommy's text message about how we feel after getting scored on. Yeah.
So I felt like we would score, and then soon thereafter, Messi scored the first one. Tommy goes, "Oh, here we go," and I'm sure he wasn't thinking that they would end up scoring a third. And I had no worries when they scored the third. Then I thought, we're not gonna win this game. We might not even draw because it's been so hard to break down that low block. Once you get a 2-goal lead, 20 minutes left, it just felt like it was out of reach at that point.
And one other thing I want to bring up, Thomas Aviles, huh? It's the next Gregory.
I fucking love
another yellow.
Aviles. Even though
I love him too, but
even though
the same foul every game,
but he should have gotten a second yellow. There was one where he basically like threw his knee into like the guy's hip. I was like, what are you doing, my guy?
No,
like, are you trying?
People.
But I love him. I love his tenacity. I love his passion. I love the way he plays the ball. You saw him. He deflected a few balls. He got Almada on a one-on-one. He won that duel. Man, I think that he's going to be a really good player once he matures as a player.
Yeah.
And shout out to Trinidad and Tobago, Reynold Stewart out there.
Yeah, man. You basically just covered it, right? You mentioned the 2 other goals. What's this guy? This guy with the weird last name again scored a goal, literal laser, right? And I thought that Calendar had an opportunity to block that. But again, this is our midfield allowing so much space. Alba didn't push up high enough.
They weren't closing out on these guys.
Yeah, they weren't.
But you know what? That goes back to what I was telling you about the Vancouver game. They were dropping into the box to make sure that guys couldn't play the ball in the box.
Yeah.
But when you give them that much space, they'll just take a shot from outside the box, and that's what they did. Vancouver wasn't taking advantage of those spaces. They were trying to work their way into the final third anyway. Atlanta didn't care. Saka, whatever his name is, he didn't care. He went for it. I completely forgot that Tommy's in the back. We got to bring Tommy on. We can't leave him back there that long. But yeah, it was. Oh no, Tommy, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it, Tommy.
Do whatever you're gonna do. Yeah, do whatever. Yeah, do it. Do it. Right. Do it, Danny. We got to bring him on now.
All right. So real quick, I think that that part was on the defense 100%. They didn't close out. And like you said, there's the midfield. Redondo shouldn't have played 90 minutes. He was gassed. Russell shouldn't be out there starting. We're never going to see him not start, unfortunately. And Busquets getting caught out of position when they suck you in with that low block and then getting caught on the counter, it's rough. But 100% Florida man, go for it.
And we're going to kick him out if it gets out of line. So
no. You know, Tommy, you're not here the whole show. I'm sorry. I could only put up with your shit talking that you're about to do for so long. So here we go. People in the chat asked for it. So here he is, Mr. Tommy One Time. How are you doing?
The power of the people. The power of the people. Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, brother? Tommy?
I'm shocked. I didn't know this was gonna be a thing. Your guys in your Discord were messaging me going, "What would you set us up for this?"
Well, that's how I felt. All you did was talk about how horrible you guys are. Like, we haven't won in 9 games. We can't score. Blah blah blah. What's going on here?
I mean, we were joking around. We were doing a YouTube watch along, and I said, "Oh my gosh, we have 2 shots on goal," and it was like, I don't know, 25 minutes in, and then another one just happened. I'm like, "Oh my god, we got 3 shots on goal!" Like I was already, celebrating a 3-shot on goal victory, right? That was enough for me at that point. But then Saba scores. Saba Lobenize. Okay, I've been drinking a little too much, so we're not going to try to pronounce his name anymore. But yeah, I mean, it was, he obviously, scored. He's scored a few bangers for Atlanta through there, but he was due. I actually mentioned him on the show and said that, he was one of the guys that, his XG was up there, but, they weren't getting lucky with some of the saves.
Cute, Aria, cute, very cute.
I'm behaving. I don't need Tyler here to babysit me. I appreciate all the YouTube comments. I saw those, and I've been sharing it with these two. And the best comment, guys, was the one that said it was just three friends hanging out talking about the game. You guys are my friends.
This is a very common comment that we've seen over the last couple minutes. You set us up. You set us up.
He okey-doked us.
He did. He played. He didn't play up the fact that Thiago Almada was going to be back in full strength today.
I wasn't sure.
He was playing out of his mind.
Listen, I mean, Mr. Krabs is saying that you jinxed us, and I believe it because Mr. Krabs is always on point.
Mm-hmm. So, do you guys ever play the low block though? Because it felt like that was. Do you ever play with 5 in the back? Because
this was the first this season that they did that. And there's not many games that could really, say Gonzalo Pineda was like a huge part of this, the game, right? Like setting up something new. But yeah, he came out with something different. He's been trying different things over the past couple of weeks. And you finally have Derek Williams and Gregerson, who I mentioned with you guys the other day. Like they were the starting center back pair, and they had only played 3 games together. And now they're, come on, Hammy, like scoreboard, standings board. Come on, calm down. Let me enjoy this like 35 minutes, right? The 35 minutes, let me enjoy it. Yeah, it was. Did you see what Atlanta tweeted?
Oh,
No way.
They're talking shit.
No,
They're talking shit.
Oh, they did. I was shocked. It said, "Thanks for bringing the whole crew this time."
Oh, banger!
You know, what's funny is that I was bringing up earlier. I don't know if you were watching when I brought it up. The fact that you guys were the first ones to beat us in the Messi era, even though he didn't play, but the first loss in the Messi era, and now the first team to legitimately beat us with Messi starting. So even though technically we lost to Charlotte, I keep bringing that up because I know somebody will eventually bring it up in the comment. I know we lost to Charlotte, but that was last game of the season. It didn't matter. He was just walking around like a mascot. This is the first legit loss. So, yeah, Atlanta has bragging rights right now. We can't even say much. Like, we beat you guys in the Leagues Cup, but after that, you guys got our number. So, good stuff.
If Miami beat Atlanta in the U.S. Open Cup, you would be doing a parade all the way down whatever popular Miami street there is. You'd be talking about it because, man, there were a lot. I saw a lot of hate comments about you hating on the Open Cup.
Oh, people hate that I hate.
Oh, he's gonna get that all the time. Anytime he mentions Open Cup negative comment, he's gonna get the business.
But the thing is, people like to bring up like, oh, it's only because you guys won Leagues Cup, blah blah blah, and we lost. No, I've been saying that since before Leagues Cup even got played. I've always disliked the Open Cup. I always think it's silly to have the Yankees play against the Jumbo Shrimps. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to have these major league teams play against minor league teams. It makes absolutely no sense. And people criticize the MLS quality enough as it is. Why are you going to force people to watch even worse soccer? Like, it makes no sense. So, but, I'm not going to get into that. Whatever.
I want to mention Joe Shaw. Shout out to Joe Shaw. And he's asking, why no Ben Krem tonight, Chris? I don't know. Tata just didn't want to replace him with Redondo. Redondo played like a complete diaper bag. Okay. And I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean, I don't understand, to be honest. You guys played hella great defense on Messi. It's like what Danny mentioned earlier. Like, the moment that he would get the ball or even plan on getting the ball, you guys had like 2 or 3 guys just swarm him. There was no opportunity.
Yeah, but there were a couple moments where he had an opportunity where it was kind of shocking, like probably like the first 25-ish minutes where who's covering Messi? Where are they? But it got much better. But I was worried, in the second half, when I texted you guys, thinking when it was 1-0, Slish, who I talked about, who's like our best defensive midfielder, he's gone for personal matters. He wasn't there. So there wasn't a lot of depth to be able to come in defensively here. You had a Fortune who could come in, but he's a kid. Not much MLS experience at all. Like, you didn't have like any big players coming off defensively to be able to hold this game down. So I didn't feel great about the game until it was 3-1. And even then, 28-3 kept ringing in my head from the Super Bowl. And I just kept thinking about it.
Well, I'm glad because somebody in the chat said it earlier. This is your Super Bowl, and that analogy proves it.
You always just say mean things to me. Like
that was the chat. That wasn't me. That was the chat.
No, I know, but the way you said it, like you were just like, yeah, it's time to dig into Tommy again. You're the villain in this story.
100%.
You are the villain.
I am the heel. Ungari said that Tata doesn't sub even if Redondo is crawling. I agree. I think that was the biggest. Look, I was happy when he took out Grussel for Matias Rojas. I thought that would change the midfield, help us attack a little more, a lot more vertical passing, so on and so forth. But the fact that Redondo was half dead, you can see it in the first half that he was already gassed. He hasn't played for the last 12 games. Like, why would you put him out there for 90 minutes? At that point, like Joe Shaw said, put in Ben Krem. Ben Krem plays great when he comes in as a sub. Like, he should have been out there. David Ruiz even. So I think that was the biggest fault that I would give Tata today is the lack of substitutions. And before I forget, I guess I'm going to take this opportunity to just start plugging everything. Joe Shaw, he's with us right now. He is going to be on with us next week. So shout out to Joe Shaw. He's going to be on with us next week. We're going to talk a little into Miami. Also, he's got something else going on. And he also said that he would be joining us along with Tommy for a little battered MLS fun over the summer that we got starting. So I guess I'll start teasing that coming in a couple weeks.
We got some things cooking.
Is it a swimsuit calendar?
100%.
Oh, I got to do. I did 3 push-ups the other day. 3. Oh man.
Oh, you're feeling the guns.
I was glistening. Yeah.
That's good. All right. So I mean, I don't know. There's
Mike V,
that I don't even know what to talk about in this as far as this game goes.
I mean, Mike
You
V
guys
is
are saying the
mentioning-
same thing about Tata, though, that we said about when he was with Atlanta United. I mean, I think you've said he's stubborn in points as well. I think we've talked about that. Like, he hasn't really changed too much from what I see. But, I mean, get into the playoffs and get into big games that you want. And, you know, he turns the brain on and he'll outthink you.
Well, I mean, everybody wants. I mean, at this point, everybody in the chat just wants Tata out. So
It's crazy. You're in first place.
I know.
Well, no, wait, did Cincinnati win?
No,
They were losing in Nashville, right?
They finally lost.
That's cool.
It's ridiculous.
Well, and Florida man in the chat earlier tried to calm us down here, Tommy. He said, you know, we're so deep into the season so far, and we only have 3 losses. So, like, we kind of got to chill out. But, I mean, losses do this. They poison people. And here we are sitting in the muck because it was an awful loss.
Okay,
it wasn't even competitive. Like, I would understand it.
Though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Whoa.
Sorry. This is why I believe that the chat is kind of up in arms right now. Because everybody has looked at this Inter Miami season as you have to take advantage of Messi while he's here, because in the summer he's gone. Messi plays one more game for us on Saturday. After that, he's gone for at least a month and a half.
Yeah.
And then you can't count on him being healthy for the last 3 months. Like, he might miss a game here or there. He might rest for another Canada trip whenever we go to Toronto. Like, so we have to take advantage when he's playing. So the fact that we lost today against a team that hadn't won or even drawn in the last 9, I understand why
they did draw in that 9, and they had some draws.
It was just winless. It was just winless.
Yeah, it was winless.
Okay, it was winless. But I think that's why everybody's so frustrated, because you have to take advantage of these games, because we don't know what the summer is going to look like. Our team hasn't necessarily looked great when Messi hasn't played. And now you're talking about Messi's not there, Suarez not there, Diego Gomez, I don't know when he's coming back. And Redondo, hopefully he gets fit soon. But today he looked half dead. So we need to start taking advantage of these games. Like St. Louis on Saturday, that's a must win. And I know that's stupid to say must win in June 1st or whatnot. But this team needs some confidence going into the Messi-less month and a half. You need to win that game, in my opinion. All right.
Yeah, and that's how we felt too. I mean, this entire early season. I mean, you look at this team and who you're playing. Saba is playing for the country, Atlanta. I mean, you have Giacomakis who could potentially leave there. Gregerson. I'm sorry?
Doesn't Giacomakis want to leave?
Well, there's a rumor. I mean, there's a rumor of transfers, yeah. I think Cruz Azul has been making some big offers for Atlanta on there. I don't know if I'm not fully for or against it, because the guy's been injured a lot throughout his time here. But I mean, he was second in the Golden Boot last year, coming into the league late, a couple of games in, he didn't start and still went on a run. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, this team will look very different, hopefully, by the time we play again in September. I circled it on my calendar. I'm ready.
September 18th.
But I didn't know about the swimsuit calendar thing, so I got to stop drinking.
You got to cut down on those 5-cent beers over in
at Ben Stadium. At the beginning of the year, we said everybody's going to come out and press us. That's how you beat us, because you forced us to turn the ball over. And we've gotten a little better beating the press. They've dropped Busquets a little further back to assist with beating the press. We've been able to get past that. So now it looks like Atlanta has now made a new blueprint. Park the bus, beat us on the counter. Now, I actually like when teams play us like that, because I feel like Messi and company will eventually break that team down. But when we no longer have Freire and we're counting on Christoph getting back on defense, Redondo with half a lung, Busquets out of position trying to get back on defense, like, this is a recipe for disaster if teams start to play us like this and we can't create more than one goal. So, we'll see how this goes.
What was the possession in this game?
You guys 62 to 38, I believe.
Who?
Us.
I mean,
you guys let us.
It was 62 to 38. We had 62% possession.
Yeah, you guys let us just hold the ball.
That's what I thought. So, I mean, 3 out of the 4 Atlanta wins this year, I think. Now I think it's 3 out of 4. They didn't win the possession battle. Pineda loves playing with the ball, but he doesn't get scoring opportunities. He changed it around here. Kind of felt like, I mean, since you're talking about Tata, kind of felt like how Atlanta United played with Tata when they won MLS Cup. Like they went into they went into the playoffs being a possession team, nonstop attacking, and instead they turned it in the playoffs. They were a counter team, and it worked. I mean, they beat New York City, who they never beat. They beat the Red Bulls, who they never beat with that, and then they had beaten Portland. I mean, that was just something that he changed up that was different, and it worked out.
I mean, look at this, Danny. Yeah, Solana's mentioning here in the comment section, Ian Frey watch for Saturday. I can't wait for that if that happens.
That would be amazing because that's what we need. Ian Frey. We've always said that if Ian Frey can pair up with Aviles, that we feel like we're set at center back. So
that would be amazing, and we definitely need that. And Soccer Daddy's actually saying no Alba for Saturday.
Why?
Yellow card accumulation?
Did he get a yellow card today?
Didn't he?
No, Aviles got a yellow card.
Yeah, Aviles got a yellow card. Not him.
But okay, can we talk about that?
Here he goes.
That stupid foul that they called. What was the player's name again? Tommy.
Tiare
and Alba. Tiare started crying because they called a foul on him, and Alba was holding in the wrong eye apparently from what Tommy said back in the first half. Now it didn't end up making a difference.
Which one did he touch closer?
But it doesn't matter. It was still a foul. If you're gonna call that foul on anybody, it was definitely on him.
And he Tiare put his arm around the ref to like try to smack him too. Like I guess like people overreact to those things, but like since I watch hockey, I'm just like, oh yeah, get him, yeah, punch him in the face, and you can't do that. But I was expecting it, but but like that's what they do in hockey, right? He reached his arm around the ref to try to smack him.
Well, I thought that it was a foul because the ball was long gone, and for some reason, Tiare went ahead and put his hands on either
his
head or his neck. It was stupid. I don't know why he did it. Like it was dumb. And I don't think it should even be called. I didn't think it was that big a deal. But if there was going to be a foul call, I don't see how Taylor Twellman thought that it was on Alba. Like I usually agree with Taylor Twellman. Everybody hates on him. I don't think he's that bad. But on that, I was like, shut the hell up. Why does he keep saying that it was on Alba? Like, there was absolutely no way that was on Alba.
Well, because I think he's saying that because of the dramatic, like what Tommy was referencing, right? Cover the right eye, cover the left eye. But I mean, that's what he's saying. Like, that he's going to bring out the theatrics. And Soccer Daddy's mentioning here because of Alba, Taylor performance is down. Funny thing is that last game before this one, they were mentioning how Alba and Taylor play so well together. Whenever Alba doesn't push up so high, Taylor shows out. But whenever Taylor pushes up super high, whenever Alba pushes up super high, Taylor is a ghost.
Yeah.
And Aria disagrees with you, Danny.
And
a
then
lot of people hate Twellman. I don't get it.
And then Solana's asking if I watch the games in English. I read the games in English. I usually watch the games with subtitles because I'm with my kids. And at this time of night, I'm putting them to bed. So I watch the game on my phone. So I don't watch the game in English. I read the game in English.
How can you
read? You read
game?
Captions during a sporting event?
Yeah, that's awful. You're awful, Danny.
What?
You're absolutely awful. I don't even understand what you are.
I'm sorry. I can read. I apologize.
Yeah, but like I've watched it on like at the bar and they have it on and it's always like a play behind. Like in the NFL, it's like, oh, sack. No, they're already punting the ball, dude. I don't need to read this now. I mean, I haven't watched Apple's version of it, but like it's so bad. Behind.
Look, when the room is pitch black, it's completely quiet. Like put in the caption on, and you don't have to look at it always, but like I look down and I read it. It's not that big a deal. I didn't think it was that big a deal.
When I'm in a room completely dark, I asked my wife if I could turn the game on before anything happens. She says usually okay.
Just don't put captions, and you won't get the red card.
All right. Tommy, do you have any final thoughts before we? Because for those of you, we usually come on Thursday nights to preview Saturday's game. But like we said earlier in the episode, it's my son's birthday. It's Chris's daughter's birthday. So no show tomorrow. So we are going to start talking about St. Louis right now. So, Tommy, before we let you go, any final thoughts on today's game?
Well, happy birthday to your children. You both got cool kids.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Especially because one's a Cody Rhodes fan. But yeah, I mean, good game. I mean, it was unexpected. But yeah, obviously in September you have a chance to go to the Bens. But as we're going to talk about in September, if you let me back, is
September 16th.
No grass, no Messi. I know. You buy the shirt at Battered Herons USL OpenCup.com. You can get the hat and shirt there, whatever. But yeah, good game, guys.
Maybe we'll.
It was much needed for Atlanta. It was.
You guys were the better side, without a doubt today. Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
That's the nicest thing you've said to me all week. I feel like we've taken a step.
I said it on your show just like an hour ago.
I know. We're friends. Well, thank you everyone that's been saying the nice things, and I'm in the Discord if you want to screw with me. I'm in there.
And let everybody know where they can find your stuff, Tommy. Let them know that Scarves and Spikes is out here slanging and banging.
Yeah, we're at Scarves at the letter N Spikes, and I'm Tommy ATL96. I'm either talking about wrestling, soccer, hockey, or what I see while I'm on a gummy. So whichever one, I'm there. It's always an adventure. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll talk in September.
Congrats on 13th place, sir.
What a D. What a D,
That was
Danny.
hammy. Oh. I'm just reading the chat, man. All right.
Well, I gotta go out with this. So you guys have a good time.
All right, and with that, we are letting this guy go.
Goodbye, Tommy.
Goodbye, Tommy. All right. So now a lot of people have been asking for Mr. Solana, so I sent Solana a link so he can jump on with us. So go ahead and look out for that. Before we get into St. Louis, is there anything else you want to bring up about the Atlanta game that we just watched?
No, man, it was awful. It was awful. I want to get over it already. I want to start talking about St. Louis. I want to act like this game didn't even exist because there's so many more questions than answers.
Mr. Krabs, no, unfortunately not. No St. Louis preview tomorrow. Like I said, it's our kid's birthday. I put a lot of time into these podcasts, but there's certain things that I just can't do. So
can't miss our children's birthday. It's a little tough for that.
Yeah, man. Look, do you want to know who the lowest graded player was?
It's got to be Redondo.
No, he was actually the highest. Oh, no. Third highest.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the only other player that I could think of other than Redondo would be, it has to be another midfielder.
No.
It has to be another midfielder. What?
No. It was Thomas Aviles.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't do great. He didn't do great, but I didn't think he'd get graded the worst.
Look, no. I mean, he got that stupid yellow. He had another foul that should have been a yellow. I told you that I was going to give Gressel a chance. I thought he played poorly today. I thought he was giving the ball away several times. There was a point where, and it wasn't necessarily a bad play, but there was a point where Messi took the ball into the box. He passed it to his right where Gressel was. Gressel ended up being offside, but he hesitated, gave a low cross to Suarez. Suarez took the shot. It got blocked. But Gressel, hesitated on the run. That's why got him offside. He and when I saw him in the box, I just thought to myself, it's like, this guy in the box is just never going to produce for us. Like, I really don't want to see this guy playing anymore. But I guess it's something that we just have to live with at this point.
I want to mention something that I kind of noticed a couple times, maybe on like 3 separate occasions. Wagon, he pushes up, right? Not as much as Alba, but he pushes up pretty well. And he doesn't have crossing ability, right? I put the bunny ears as much as Gressel does or projected to have. Yep. And there was plenty of times where Gressel was a little bit further down the pitch. Why didn't Wagon pass it over to Gressel to find him in those positions where he can be able to cross it into to some of the attackers. That's one of the things that I kind of noticed on like 3 separate occasions where I said to myself, why is Weigand cycling back towards the middle when he has Gressel, who is apparently the greatest crosser of all time, to set up some of our attackers? So that was something that I kind of found interesting. So
right. Well, and you know what I was thinking, and I'll end it with this, and then we'll get into St. Louis. I was thinking that it's crazy that we lose this game right after we win our first game without Messi, because there are a group of people that don't like that Messi and Suarez are on this team, even though they celebrate the wins. They're frustrated with the way we're winning because they don't like the whole Messi thing going on right now.
Yeah, of course.
So I was like, could you imagine what they're thinking? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you get on Twitter or some type of social media platform and then you see we did better against Vancouver without these guys. I'm glad they're leaving for the next month and a half. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I see something like that. No,
I mean, that's an awful take. That there's no way that take is not going to get bookmarked. Like, bookmark is when people can save like a tweet, no? And then they usually like take that and just, body slam you with it when you look like a fool.
But right here, it's BJM. Thank you, Nashville. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
All right.
So and Florida Man is agreeing with us. Morons. You put those comments up, you're a moron, probably.
Look, I don't know how anybody could be upset about Messi being here, but those people exist. All right, so let's get into St. Louis. St. Louis, 11th in the West, 16 points, 3 wins, 7 draws, 4 losses. They have a -2 goal differential. And I saw somebody was talking about Indian Vasilev. We brought it up last episode, I believe. I don't know how he's doing this season per se. I mean, I guess I could technically look it up, but I did see that where we go on Foot Mob to see the ratings, and then I saw the ratings from last game, and his rating was a 5.7. So at least last game he
wonderful.
So last game he didn't necessarily perform great, but they do have some good players. They have Klaus, they have Berkey at goal. And for those of you wondering, Indiana Vasilev, 1 goal, 1 assist in 14 games. So he's not tearing it up. But I don't know how he's playing. I don't know where he's positioned. I don't know if he's in the midfield playing the wing.
Give him a couple games. I think he's doing the Lassiter deal where they got him playing like midfield / right wing back / right winger, or I don't know what the hell's going on with him. But I mean, St. Louis found a diamond in the rough, I guess. 5.3?
5.7. But again, that was just last game. I haven't gone back to see other things. Maybe he played better in the past. It looks like they play in a 4-2-3-1. Now, I don't know how they are as far as pressing high or playing a low block. I mean, I think that you would also expect them to play a low block, kind of like everybody's going to, after today, I would assume that that's the way to go, no?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, there's no way that they're not going to play like that. If they can be able to get Klaus to bang in a goal within the first 30 minutes, there's no way that they're not going to park the bus for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's how I feel also. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was just going to bring up this little comment here. Hidden Name is saying, I saw one account that had Messi Messi out in the name, but I think it's a fake account because it was just created, but they claim they've been a fan since 2020.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people would say that, but whatever. We're not going to talk about that, I guess. So let's bring on here. Solana finally jumped on. So let's see what Solana's thoughts are on today's game. Solana, welcome, sir. How are you doing?
I'm happy, bro. Guys, I got the jersey swap. Look, I got the jersey swap, so I'm happy.
Nice.
Yeah. I got the jersey swap. Also, I want to show off that
let's go.
So we're part of the fam now. We're part of the fam. Got the shirts
official.
So it's official. It's official. Thoughts on the game? We'll do it quick because I know you want to get to St. Louis, but a lot of spaces between the last line and the midfield. I mentioned in the comments, and Chris, you kind of addressed it a little bit, but I said maybe we should have a segment at one point where I'll take out a board and explain like why there's so much space in between there, because some folks might not understand or whatever. But essentially, I mean, there was a lot of space, and that's why Almada had so much room to just operate. And when you get Almada, who's so quick how he is,
so fast,
so creative too.
Right, and it wasn't just him. I mean, their other wingers were really fast as well. So you get those guys one-on-one with Christoph and Aviles, they got cooked, man. They got cooked. But like a lot of people said, you can't win them all. I thought obviously they sat back well and countered, and it killed us. So, and my bad, I couldn't jump on early. I ran out of LaCroix, so I had to go to Publix and pick up some more. So.
Oh, I thought you were preparing a mate. You still owe me a mate, but I want my own. Okay, just putting it out there.
I actually had some. Okay. I had some earlier today. I did a pregame with another podcaster, and I had some with him. So we didn't share straws. Obviously, it was virtual, but I'll share with you, buddy, any day.
No, I don't want to. I'm good.
I saw Luis Suarez walk in with Messi and a mate.
Yeah, I saw the same thing. I was waiting for
one mate.
Yeah.
They share.
Just real quick, just to finish up on this, a lot of people frustrated that our offense didn't get clicking. Look, no matter how good you are, if you're a disciplined defensive team and you're playing a low block, it's hard to score on that team. Like, it doesn't matter how good your offensive attackers are, it's difficult to break down a low block if you have a good defensive team that's well disciplined.
Yeah.
So
I tweeted it out at halftime where, you know, Inter Miami is a team that really likes to attack through the middle. They like to attack through Busquets, through Messi. But when you have a team that's sitting so far back, at points they were playing a 4-5-1, sometimes even a 5-4-1, and sometimes even a 5-5-5. They had everybody back in their own in their own half. And Inter Miami wasn't looking to attack from the outsides, and that's what they needed to do. Their best chances came when Taylor went one-on-one with Brooks Lennon on that left side. He had him, in the first half a couple times, and the center just didn't go their way, and they weren't looking for that on the right sside. So I don't know. I feel like that's where they kind of screwed up, and I agree with the chat that they should have taken out Redondo, earlier. But
100%.
Let's move on. Let's move on to St. Louis, bro. I'm tired of talking about losses.
Well, this is the last thing I want to mention about this game. Jason just saw on ESPN that this is the first match that Messi didn't win when he had a goal since the 2022 World Cup loss against Saudi Arabia. Now, I thought this was just the first legit loss he had against an MLS opponent while being a starter since joining us last year, but that's an interesting stat also. So there you go. All right, so St. Louis. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, I just wanted to bring this last comment up before we talk about St. Louis. Mr. Krabs is saying there are two Gerardo Martinos on Inter Miami coaching staff, and One World One Goal chimes in, says, yes, his own son is our assistant coach, explains a lot. Listen, is this worse than having Phil Neville and his son playing for him, Harvey Neville?
It happens all over the world where you see coaches bring on their family members, whether it's a brother, a son, a nephew, or so, a cousin. It always happens all over the place. So I don't know why people make such a big deal out of it. I think it's actually more normal that your son is your assistant coach than you're playing your son. That's a little nepotism, if you ask me. But
yeah. And, well, Jason is saying he's co-signing for him. He's saying his son is nice. He met him over the weekend, so that's nice.
Just real quick, I randomly ran into this earlier today in the house. I hadn't seen this in a while. I feel like everybody should have a bowl of these right here after today's loss.
Bro, I love Bootios.
This right here is what people should be eating after today's. Just Bootios.
You should have brought that on with Tommy too.
Because we were straight booty. I forgot. I just remembered randomly that I found this in the house. Bootios. All right. So we got St. Louis. I honestly believe that after a loss like today's, that Messi and everybody are gonna come out upset. They're gonna want to show their dominance before they leave for that month and a half, however long they're gonna be gone. And I think that no matter what St. Louis does, we will win this game at home. Solana, What do you think about Saturday's game against St. Louis?
I mean, I want to agree with you, but on paper, St. Louis is a better team, or at least has better talent, although they're not showing it this year, than Atlanta. With you guys mentioned it earlier, Klaus, their forward, he's going to be a tough guy to deal with because Inter Miami's not that great on set pieces. Berkey, their keeper, on paper is going to be better than Cohen, right? But Cohen didn't see a lot of action today. So you have to, and you guys were talking about it earlier, you have to see how St. Louis is going to come out. Are they going to come out and sit back on a low block again and just counter and hope that Klaus can, bring one down or get some sort of, set play? If they do, you would better hope that Tata practices the next couple of days on how to attack from somewhere else other than the middle. Because if not, it's going to be a lot more bootios.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think that we're going to be getting to a point where we're going to take a loss against St. Louis, even though there is the possibility that if they do get a pretty early lead that they're going to park the bus. But there's going to be enough time where I believe that this team is going to be able to figure out some of the kinks in between today and Saturday to be able to get the ball moving better, because I just feel like they didn't connect well in passes today. And if they don't fix that, then we're going to have a couple problems on Saturday for sure, Danny.
All right. I love to look at stats when I'm previewing the game. They have the second most shots in the league. So they fire at will. I'm assuming they take a lot of shots from outside the box, which is what we saw today.
Had the least.
Yes. And you have to close out on them because they take shots. And I'm assuming a lot of them are from outside the box.
Yeah.
Now, shots on target, they're second worst, which also leads me to believe that a lot of those shots are from outside the box. If they see an opening, they're taking it. They're Lassiters. They're taking it. So they cannot play defense like they did today. Drake needs to stand on his head. Today he didn't, which is fine because those are some 2 golazos, but still you would want him to get at least one of those. But if they're taking shots from outside the box, that means you can't do what you did against Vancouver, where you played as far back as possible to kind of clog the box, because then you're just letting them take those shots from outside the box, and we saw what happened today. We cannot allow that. So, and then, that was it. So they have the second most shots, but the second least shots on target. So they obviously take shots when they are available to them, and we cannot allow ourselves to fall into what we fell into today and just give them the space to take a shot, because you can't score if you don't shoot, and they're going to shoot.
Look, I'm looking at some of the stats because, like you said, you like the stats. And one thing that pops out at me is if they go ahead and sit back and play a similar style like Gonzalo Pineda played today, with his Atlanta United team, the one big plus, and again, I don't want this to come back and haunt me because it probably will, but the one big plus is you don't have Almada on the other side running the 10. You've got, an old friend there, Indy Vasilev, and he's nowhere near what Almada is. So you got to be a little bit more calm that if they try to go that route, that, Inter Miami might be a little bit more, positive in that sense. You gotta be a little bit more tranquilo with that. But again, you don't want to get stuck in that, match where it's 0-0 a tight game and they score and then sit back. You don't want to get into that. Inter Miami wants to get out of the block early. And they haven't been able to do that lately. And it is a little worrying.
Now, I just wanted to give a shout out to Joe Kerr. He's making a great point here. Ugly Guzan enjoyed his day off.
We thought that better off with Guzan playing.
Yeah, I think so as well. We thought that it was going to be a destroy effect if Guzan wasn't playing. And before you get to your point, Danny, Hammy's asking, where do I get my jersey? I ended up getting this jersey on Fanatics, I believe. It was on sale because this was like 2 years ago. So
the last stat that I'm going to bring up is the fact that Atlanta, great defense, discipline, don't foul often, and you saw that today. Mm-hmm. St. Louis, on the other hand, has committed the second most fouls in the league.
Messi,
so free kick central, maybe get a couple free kick opportunities. I think that this is a completely different team than what we played against today. Their defense is nowhere near as good as Atlanta's. They have a negative 2-goal differential. I think that we should win this game. Obviously, I did say that about today, so I don't say it with as much confidence as I did going into the Atlanta game. But I still do think that at home, after the first loss with Messi starting against a team that doesn't play as good as defense, constantly fouls because they're not disciplined, and they have the least amount of offsides, I believe, in the league also, or the second least amount of offsides, which tells me that they're not really going for those long balls, those through balls. They're not running into spaces. So all in all, I think that this should be a team that we handle. And I'm just going to start with the prediction. I say we win this game. I'm going to say 3-0. I don't even think they score on us. Oh, wait, but they have
That's actually, yeah, man.
I tell you what, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0.
Okay, I see that. I could see that. I was actually, I was actually going to go with 3-1. I just feel like I feel like consistently we're still not doing well on defense, which is going to open up opportunities where Calendar's not going to have his clean sheet. And until we start
if Jordi Alba and I don't know who else it was and the other one step up to him and don't give him that shot from outside the box, do they score 3 goals today?
No,
I don't
absolutely.
Our defense, our defense wasn't great, but I don't think it was the worst I've seen. All right, look at Russell Media USA 3-1 St. Louis.
I agree with you. I agree that the defense wasn't the worst part. I think it was the space between the defense and the midfield that was 100%. The biggest issue, because that's what gave their block of 3 all that space to then basically counterattack us and get our center backs flat-footed, and that's what killed us the most. So you have to figure out a way, and Tata needs to work with his defense with the back line, where if our 2 outside backs are going to push up that much and Boosie isn't going to sit in the back with the with the 2 center backs, and the 2 center backs need to push up. They can't sit back there and just sit back there because they're slow. They need to push up, and they need to be on those center forwards. But that way, if they receive, you can foul them right away, and you do a tactical foul. Because if you're allowing the forward or a guy like Almada to receive and turn, and you're Kristoff, you're cooked. I mean, that's rule number 1 in defending. You got to be on the guy's butt to either foul him or not let him turn. You got to make him play back. And they didn't do that. They just allowed them to turn and go.
I mean, look, One World One Goals mentioning feel bad for Drake, left him out to dry. And then Soccer Daddy is saying Drake had no help.
The
AZ
defense
Rebellion,
had no help.
Yeah, AZ Rebellion said midfield shit the bed. Listen, there was one goal that I thought that Drake had an opportunity to block, which was the second. The other 2, I don't think that he had a good opportunity to block. That was all fully on the defense. The only one I would give a little bit of credence to in terms of the defense where Drake could have had an opportunity was the second goal. But other than that, I mean, Drake was literally...
I thought that last one was offside.
Somebody had mentioned that in the chat, that the last one could have been offsides.
I thought it was offside.
Yeah. Me too.
Wouldn't have made a difference, but I thought it was offside.
Now, I'm still going to stick with my prediction, 3-1. I think that defensively, we haven't been consistent enough. I think that for some reason, not only is that leading us to conceding goals, but it's also leading to Calendar not having clean sheets, whether it's his fault or not. I do think that we're going to win. I do think that we're going to suffer a goal, because I'm not going to sleep on Klaus, because Klaus is a good striker. I'd say 3-1. That's my prediction. I don't know about you, Solana. What were you were gonna say something, Danny? My fault.
Yeah, real quick. I said 2-0. Looking back, our last 4 games, we've scored 4 goals. And for this team that we were like, oh, this team's gonna break that LAFC record for, I don't know, like 90 million goals. 4 goals in 4 games ain't gonna cut it. So we haven't been tip top since we scored those 6 goals against the Red Bulls. So yeah. Go ahead, Solana.
No, I mean, I'm gonna go with the middle ground between you, Danny, and you, Chris. I'm gonna go 2-1 Inter Miami. Like Danny said, they haven't been scoring that much. So I think the team, as they're bringing back the players that were injured, is trying to figure out how to get their rhythm going again, and that's kind of what's messing with their mojo in terms of scoring. So I'm gonna go with 2-1 because again, I don't think Inter Miami is great at defending set pieces, and we give up a lot of corners with the way that we defend, and I think Klaus might get ahead on one. But as I keep doing research here, Danny, because now you pique my mind when you start talking about stats, bro. And I'm doing the research, so it looks like most of the fouls, and this is going back to last year also with St. Louis. They were the most fouled team that fouled the most last year as well, but most of their fouls occur in the midfield. So it looks like they're a team that does like that tactical foul that I'm talking about, and that's where we're going to get a lot of fouls. So let's hope that that's not the case, and Messi can get a little magic before he leaves. But it looks like that might not be the case.
Well, I'm just hoping that they don't come out and say, you know what, just like Atlanta did today, like, hey, we never played this low block, but F it, let's do it against Inter Miami, because it's going to be another long, boring day of them trying to figure out how to break down that low block. So we'll see.
Well, Tata showed that he can adjust. He's shown in prior games that he can adjust. So let's hope that if they do that they adjust.
I agree. My thing was leaving Redondo out there for so long. So
100%.
Yeah, I mean there should have been better substitutions, by the way.
And Mr. Krabs, this is the longest we've done in a while, but it's because we wanted to add in the St. Louis preview tonight because, like we said, we're not going to be on tomorrow. So yeah, but I think that's about it. Unless you have anything else, Chris.
No, just before I go, Hammy keeps asking about the shirt. It is the 2021 Kick Cancer jersey. It's sold out just about everywhere, but I think you can be able to find it on like mom and pop
on
websites
eBay
or something. Yeah, I mean, I see a website out here. I'll send it out. It's called the Luxy Shop. I'll post it on the Discord.
Sounds very questionable. I don't know if I would trust the Luxy Shop.
Absolutely questionable. Absolutely.
Solana, any final words?
Actually, I got two quick questions for you
Go
guys.
for it.
Not to make this go any longer.
No, it's fine.
Big weekend coming up. Not only is Inter Miami hosting St. Louis City, but you have the UEFA Champions League final. Danny, I know you're a big Real Madrid supporter. I have my Real Madrid scarf that I got at Bernabeu when I was there in 2020. Guys, like any predictions on that? I'm curious to both of you who you have winning that game. I mean, obviously, I know you have winning Real Madrid, Danny. But what's your prediction on the score? Like, how do you think it's going to go? I'm just curious. And you too,
I don't know. I feel like Real Madrid has a flair for the dramatics when it comes to Champions League and finals. I'm gonna say a 2-1 late game winner, 86th minute by Vinicius.
Okay.
Oh
I like that.
So, yeah,
I like so descriptive.
Yeah.
Well,
I would say
I think
Minuto 93, Sergio Ramos, but
that's already
years
happened.
ago. Yeah.
Well, I know that Dortmund, they scored like a lot of points in one of their recent games, no? So I'm gonna play the other side, especially since I'm wearing yellow. I'm gonna pick Dortmund to win this 3-2.
All right.
Oh yeah,
all right.
That's what I'm picking, Danny.
I mean, preferably, I would really don't care, but I'm gonna go with Real Madrid just because my boy Valverde is on there, and also because it'll be Toni Kroos's last game, and he's an absolute legend, both with Real Madrid and Germany.
I think that's going to be Kroos's last official game for his career, but I think that's going to be Modric's last game with Real Madrid also.
No. Modric signed for one more year. Modric signed for one more year.
When did that happen?
Earlier in like a few weeks ago or a couple months ago. But
I don't remember that.
It will be Kroos's last game in a Real Madrid jersey, but I believe he's going to play the Euro Cup, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I saw his last name club on the Euro Cup. So I mean that's why I'm going for I just prefer Real Madrid to win. Now, CONCACAF Champions Cup is also coming up. Both of you are rooting for Columbus, I suppose. That was my other question.
Absolutely.
All right.
100%.
So,
even though everybody's telling me that Cucho might not play. And Florida Man, what's the latest on Nacho? They said that he won't be announcing anything until after the Champions League final on Saturday. So maybe by next Monday when we have our show, we'll be able to have a better idea of what he's planning on doing. If we can get him over here, though, that would be a major win. So we'll see. And Soccer Daddy saying Pachuca. Why? But yeah. Any other final words?
That's it, man. I just wanted your guys' opinion, man. Love it.
Yeah, that's it. Chris, final words.
That's it. Let's get rid of this yucky memory and let's move on to destroying Indiana Vassilev and his hopes and dreams.
Like, at no point did we think that we were going to go undefeated this year. So it sucks when it happens, but you can't win them all. Unfortunately, you have these bad games. It's how you bounce back, and I expect them to bounce back on Saturday, and that's when we'll be back because, again, no show on Thursday like usual. We'll be back on Saturday for our post game. So I hope you guys catch us then. So for those of you listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that other good stuff. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And for those of you that joined us in the chat, as always, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us for the last hour and 20 minutes. Again, this is a long episode, but again, it's because of tomorrow. So again, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And hopefully we never think about this loss again. So until the next one, have a good one.
Acknowledge us.